Thank you for attending today. We're excited to be able to talk to you about the Beginner Coding Bootcamp. This focuses today on our panel to discuss our curriculum, instructional design specific to our beginner level program we offer here at Hack Reactor. Speaking of, we have two amazing curriculum team members and infrastructure team members here today. Daniel, who's a director of curriculum and classroom infrastructure, and Kelly Hullebeck, a curriculum design lead here at our company. Today, they'll be leading a conversation on our curriculum and instructional design for our Beginner Coding Bootcamp program. Some of the topics they'll be covering include software engineering as a career. What does it mean to be a career-ready software engineer, and how do we help you build that knowledge? What they've designed an overall program overview for the Beginner Coding Bootcamp. And then we'll talk a little bit about what it takes. We'll talk a little bit about what it takes, words are hard there for me, to successfully and how to prepare. We'll have an opportunity for all of the questions at the end of our panel. So please, if you are not using the chat feature, keep a list of those questions so we can have a little Q&A towards the end. And if for some reason we're unable to answer your question, we will supply what you need for a follow-up email address for you. That way we can hand it off in order to get that best answer back to you. And so with that, I would love to be able to pass it over to Daniel to begin this session, and Kelly to begin this session. Thank you so much for being here.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeff. Hello, everyone. I'm Daniel Billett, and I'm so excited to be with you all today. I've been a software engineer for many years, and you likely have more questions about what is possible with a career in software engineering. I want to take a couple of minutes and to talk about my personal experience as well as some of those, what's possible for you in the future. So I've been a software engineer for over 25 years. I got started in web development, what they would call the Web 1.0 time. It was very, very interesting. And I think one of the things that really got me interested in software, I've always liked to build things, but when I started learning, using software, I could build whatever came up in my mind. And you can go so many different directions with it. The web is really big, but you can take it into robotics. You can take it into, neuroscience, all kinds of different directions. So I really enjoy it, and it's provided a career that, honestly, I just wouldn't change it. I love doing it, and it's something that even after I retire, it's solving puzzles and it's fun. So I did that for a long time, and I got into education about 10 years ago, and I've just really enjoyed bringing software engineering to other people as a career and really as a passion. So feel free to ask me questions when we get to the Q&A. I'd love to talk more, but I want to get into the content here. So let's get at it. All right. In software engineering, there's so many different roles and responsibilities that can be taken on. There's development and design. I'll go over them at the high level and we can dive into the details. Planning and project management, data engineering, analysis, maintenance, and innovation overall. With the basis in programming, there's the obvious job of writing software itself, but knowing how to program actually introduces you to a much larger field that just isn't possible without knowing. And it goes into so many different directions, like I said before. Data engineering, this can go into data science, AI. AI is huge these days and constantly growing. That's a whole place where it goes. Project and planning, software engineering there's a whole practice in just learning how to build big software projects. And I guess where I'm trying to go is learning how to program is just a start, and it can grow in so many different ways. It's really hard to, I think a lot of people, 10, 15 years in, you don't write a lot of code, but it opens up a lot of doors. Anywho, let's move on. So to give you, I want to talk about our alumni a little bit, and so you can get a sense of some of the people who have been through the program and where they've been able to get through. So here's some highlights from our 2024 alumni survey. Over 1,400 alumni participated in our survey, and that's about 10% of our 14,000 graduates of our different programs here. After graduation, the majority of our students found jobs as software engineers at 84%, with the next highest profession being in data engineering and data analyst roles at 8%. Just an interesting fact that most individuals work hybrid roles, with 42%. The next, hybrid. Does that mean That's working at home and in person, is that right? Okay. About people working hybrid and then a little bit less than half working remote. Our top hiring partners in the survey were Amazon, Chase, and Wells Fargo. Another reason I wanted to highlight our alumni is that not only do we have a robust community, we have trained more than 14,000 grads who have been hired by more than 2,500 companies and organizations around the world. We've collected feedback from these same individuals that informed additions and reframes the curriculum in our program to create an even better and more robust curriculum for you. The curriculum coming up is something that we've been hard at work at putting a new polish on. It was already I would say a cutting edge curriculum when we started it. And we've just been working to make a lot of improvements to it. A lot of that's based on feedback we get from our alumni. Let's keep going.
Awesome. Thank you, Daniel, for that overview and giving some of those useful statistics for the folks joining us today. Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. I had to let my dog out of the room a second ago because I just know he was going to bark. I hope everybody else is enjoying their day at home or at work, wherever you are. My name is Kelly Hollebeck, and I'm a curriculum designer here on the team. I've been with the company for 6.5 years, and I've supported students both at the beginning of their bootcamp experience all the way through to the end. I can tell you that everything in our curriculum is absolutely designed to build up to your career readiness. So what does that mean exactly? You're going to hear us say career ready no less than 100 times. So let me give you some insight there. Essentially, it means being prepared for the practical realities of the workplace. How do we know exactly what that is, right? Not only do we have folks with industry experience that have been in there, they know what it takes. We also look at data, just like what you're seeing here, and we'll dive into that in just a second. We look at marketplace trends. We review real-time data related to job postings. We have our robust alumni community that's constantly giving us feedback. These are all things that we pay attention to and that we implement in the curriculum that we're going to talk about here today. So diving into the data itself, here you'll see the Lightcast report. This is a report generated by Lightcast. That's a company that specializes in labor market analysis using, again, the job postings, skills data, and other market information. You'll see top skills here desired for junior developers and engineers. Now, you will not be surprised to see some of the top specialized skills include computer science, software engineering, software development, right? There's also top software skills that you'll see listed here, top common skills. The ones highlighted, all of these ones in light blue, are ones that we teach specifically in the Beginner Coding Bootcamp. One thing you'll notice here, though, that's interesting is that it's not just about technical skills, right? That's a huge part of it, but there is absolutely so much more that we're going to go into detail here. The top two most desired common skills you'll see are communication and problem solving. And these are words you're going to hear over and over again today as well. We're going to get more into how we intentionally build those throughout the program and the curriculum itself. Next slide, please. Thank you. All right, this chart comes from Stack Overflow, which you may or may not have heard of. They provide the most comprehensive survey of professional software engineers, complete with feedback from over 45,000 individuals. So if you've been researching coding schools, you've probably seen a lot of common computer science topics like algorithms, data structures, networking, databases, right? You'll see all of that in every single curriculum. However, coding boot camps do differ in the choices that they make when it comes to the languages they teach, right? So for ours, we've chosen to teach you the top 4 most used coding languages, which you see here in blue on this slide. So that includes JavaScript, SQL, HTML, CSS, and Python, which are highly desirable in the industry. All right, so there are many realities for software engineers, but here are some key ones. First and foremost, problem solving and critical thinking are central for software engineers. This field changes over time. I'm sure that you're tracking on the advances in technology that come, and there's always new things to learn and incorporate. The bootcamp itself is going to help you build your foundational understanding of software engineering and prepare you for your first role, but your lifelong learning is going to be required, right, for your successful long-term success in your career. There are going to be obstacles in the course and in your job, right? So building your grittiness and your autonomy is going to be crucial. Both technical and people skills are critical, like we just saw in the data before. You can know all of the programming languages in the world. And if you don't know how to communicate your work, your understanding, your thoughts, it's really going to hold you back, right? So this is something we're going to intentionally practice and build throughout this time together as well. Working well with others, communicating about your decisions, they're going to be crucial to your long-term success. This is all thoughtfully integrated in the program. All right, so as a part of this curriculum design, we've identified 5 key outcomes. You're going to see this not only now in this curriculum event. If you join the program itself, you're going to hear us reference these things constantly. Everything leads up to this goal of your career readiness with these 5 outcomes in mind. So I'll dive a little bit into these. First and foremost, you're going to become a fluent programmer. We're going to help you build that technical proficiency that you need and the development skills that you need to have to qualify and be a full stack engineer. You're also going to work on becoming a robust problem solver. We're going to help you build those problem solving skills, debugging capabilities, and critical thinking to ensure that you're prepared to think like an engineer in the workforce. Like Daniel was talking about his own career in his own time, he loves to solve puzzles, right? He thinks this is fun. It's because of the problem solving element that you're constantly getting to solve new and creative real world problems in your career. We're going to help you become a resourceful self-manager. It sounds exactly as it's written. You're going to learn to manage yourself better, right? And we're going to help you practice managing yourself and your needs. So things like stress management, time management, taking personal accountability, right? When you need to, those are all things you're going to work on here in the program. You're going to work on becoming an exemplary team member. We're going to help you build those skills as a team member by engaging in paired and group opportunities as you make your way through the program. And this is going to allow you to work on some of those other things we saw that were important, right? Like your communication, your collaboration skills, and your community building talents. And then lastly, but definitely not least, we're working on being that career ready candidate, right? So this is being a robust, dynamic individual, technically skilled with individual people, and then also being actually ready to interview and be prepared for a job, right? So on top of everything we already mentioned, to be career ready, you're also going to need to be a persistent applicant, right? Be well prepared for job interviews. So our career services team is going to help you get there so that you're ready to hit the ground running once you graduate. So the common thread throughout the entire design of the product from start to finish, you're going to see are these 5 outcomes. You're probably going to be sick of hearing about them when it's all done. But this is what you're here for, right? Hopefully to pivot a career and have a meaningful one.
Awesome.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you, Kelly. All right. So how do we do this? Let's jump in a bit and about how we do program design or how our program design supports your career readiness and what to expect from the course. All right. Over the course of the Beginner Coding Bootcamp, you can expect the following. In 16 weeks, you'll go from beginner to full stack graduate. You will experience unit-based curriculum, which is designed to cover specific topics that are key to software engineering. You'll experience some flipped classroom techniques and project-based learning. So this is all about being hands-on and spending more time doing than listening to people talk about doing. You'll have multiple opportunities to evaluate your understanding to see if you're on track. If not, you'll receive support and remediation. As I said, we've done a lot of updates to the program recently, and this is a place where we've really done a lot of work. And the idea is if anybody gets off track, we want to know that immediately, like that day or the next day, so that we can come in and help you get up to speed. The course does move pretty quickly, and so it is important to stay up to speed. And so we're really proud of the work that we've done there, and excited to get it in place. You'll also have a ton of built-in collaboration opportunities in the form of group work and paired labs. This will give you the opportunity to practice working with others and communicating about your code and thought process. This really is a critical part of the program. You'll be pairing with another person almost every day. The key part of that is getting you to talk about your problems and talk about your solutions. Talking about the problem itself and solutions is a good way of arriving at problems, talking with other people. But where it really is important is when you go out to get your first job and any jobs after that, that's going to be the key part of that interview, is being able to understand problems. And the way that an interviewer knows that you're understanding the problem, making progress, is because they talk with you about it. So we'll get a lot of that in. All right. So this is why do we have a unit-based curriculum? Let's jump into that. We know beginners need a solid understanding of new content. So each unit focuses on one specific technical topic at a time to help you solidify your understanding of a given topic before learning something new. We also know that at such a quick pace, misunderstandings need to be identified quickly. Having topical subunits allows us to get you the additional support you need quickly. Understanding the big picture is essential for long-lasting understanding, so we've organized the units to organically build the big picture of software engineering for you. We also know that targeted practice is key to strengthening understanding. Each unit has fluency opportunities, which are repetitive practice opportunities that help you build lasting mental models. It's in many bootcamp curriculums out there, it's common to be teaching multiple different things at the same time. And I guess we've been there and done that, and we can see that really focusing on a given topic one at a time is the easiest way to get through it and make sure that everybody gets through it together. All right, so we're going to walk through kind of the main chunks of the program as it progresses. The units are as follows. In weeks 1 through 9, you'll complete the units you see here. You'll explore full stack engineering by learning the fundamentals of coding through Python, then jumping into databases, how the web works, and then you'll learn JavaScript and the DOM for the front end, and then round out with the learning how to program in the back end web. So these the light blue blocks you see are the elementary building blocks, the individual units. The full stack fluency block at the end. This brings all of these together, and at the end of this unit, you'll create a full stack fluency project, which will be a full stack application that you'll build all independently. Successfully completing this project will demonstrate your ability to grasp the web development stack and ability to continue on in the program. Once you've completed and passed your full stack fluency project, you'll finish the final units and complete your capstone project. This part of the program dives more deeply into what it's like to implement your full stack skills as you would in the workplace. You'll learn to utilize React to build modern dynamic web applications. And during this portion of the program, you'll see all of the concepts and technologies you've learned come together as you build another full stack application, this time with a team of fellow software engineers in your cohort. At this point, you'll really practice your software engineering excellence as you work as part of an agile software development effort to design and build durable and responsive web application using a cloud platform. That probably sounds like a whole mouthful of stuff, but we get that all figured out right in the first week, what all those kind of words mean, get you on the right track. You'll plan, create, monitor a continuous integration and delivery pipeline, a CI/CD as it's called with GitLab pipelines, and effectively use AI-powered tool GitHub Copilot. So there's a lot of different technical things in there, but what I can tell you in easier to understand English is this is the whole process of building software. And for myself and countless other people who have helped influence the development of this project, we bring, really hundreds of years of experience collectively of real software projects, small projects, I worked for Canon, as in Canon cameras and Canon printers, and worked on just massive scale projects there. And if you look at the whole team of people that worked on it, there's software engineering is throughout the whole system, the whole program, so that you have a good idea of how it works when you get there. All right, how success is measured in each unit. Each unit includes multiple data points for you to self-assess and for the instructional staff to take a temperature of your performance. You'll complete daily knowledge checks that cover your nightly explorations. Project checks each unit once or more times per unit, depending on the length of the unit. How you feel while completing your daily lab assignments is also a great data point for you to self-assess your progress and understanding. I mention this to say your level of understanding at any point should come as no surprise to you or to the instructional staff. Again, we've put a lot of time in instrumenting the whole program so we can know where you're at and know what kind of help you might need as soon as you need it. If any point you're feeling like you're struggling, and say if we haven't identified it, we encourage you to reach out at any time, and we're happy to see where you're at and help you get on track and keep going. If at any point our instructional staff feels like you're struggling and would benefit from additional support, they will reach out as well. In the event that you do not perform as expected on a unit project, we will support you by providing some action items to complete this to help build your understanding. This may include additional problems or readings or small group or one-on-one remedial support with the instructor. All right. I think a key part of the program here is we've designed a sustainable schedule that works with people's real lives. So something unique to our program is that we've built days for reflection and restoration. Like I said, I started working in the boot camp industry about 10 years ago. And back then, I don't think we took rest very seriously. But we've learned, and science has shown, that rest is essential for your brain to work properly. And, we've learned that just going 80 hours a week constantly for 12 weeks is not the healthiest thing on earth. So this program has been designed from the ground up to take that into account. This means that every other Friday is a day off, and you can use that day to rest, restore, and reflect. And the weekends are off. We don't give homework. I think when you're interested in things, there's always things that you can be compelled to dive into, and we encourage people to go out and study. But generally, there's no homework over the weekends, because we want you to really be able to rest and let the material that you've worked on so hard over the week really sink in. And it's a fact that you do learn while you're sleeping if you let your brain rest. That's designed in. We're aiming for durable knowledge here, and that means we want things to stick, and it's good to give your brain a break here and there. In addition to the in-time class, you also spend out-of-time class studying, completing your content explorations. Each student is different, but we tell individuals to plan for about 40 to 60 hours per week for in and out of class work, about 8 to 10 hours per week outside of class. And really, the way that's planned is 1 to 2 hours a night during the week. And hopefully you don't have to do any of it over the weekend unless you really want to. All right, I'll pass it back to Kelly.
Thank you, Daniel. All right, so now you've seen a little bit about the duration, the schedule, the units that you're going to experience throughout the program. Now let's talk a bit specifically about those career readiness outcomes and how we support them throughout the program. Like I said, these outcomes really are the framing for anything that you're going to see before you in the classroom. All right, so the first slide, fluent programming, right? Throughout these units, you're going to learn a variety of tools and languages. Most of what you see here, you saw in the data up front, right? As industry utilized languages, technologies. What you'll see here throughout our program, we're going to do JavaScript, Python, HTML and CSS, Postgres, React, Fast API, and GitLab pipelines. These are all things you're going to get to engage with throughout the program. All right, and a part of becoming a fluent programmer is also knowing how to leverage tools, right, that you can use. I'm sure all of you have heard of AI at this point. And one of the tools you're going to be introduced to during the program is GitHub Copilot, which is the leading generative AI tool for programming. So 2 quick and important thoughts to share about GitHub Copilot and how we think about AI tools. The first is that we really do believe that AI-powered tools can increase productivity for software engineers, both as they learn and on the job. But you're still going to have to understand how to code, right, in order to be a successful software engineer. So these tools themselves enhance the software engineering experience and profession. They do not and will not replace software developers, as human developers are going to be needed to understand the effect of code, maintain it over time, come up with creative solutions, brainstorm with teammates, and more. So at the end of the day, it's a really cool tool. We think you're going to enjoy it, and we're excited to teach it to you. All right, and as we saw in that Lightcast report, right, problem solving, research, communication are crucial, and they are listed as top skills desired by employers. So because of this, you're going to expect to see a daily emphasis in these areas as a part of the design in the classroom and the activities you're actually going to complete. So for example, your instructors every single day are going to be modeling these skills for you in class, showing you the types of thoughts, questions you're going to think through when breaking down and solving problems. Daily, you yourself are going to get to practice breaking down and solving problems, right? By implementing a problem-solving process that we'll teach you in the beginning of the program. And then you're also going to get a lot of practice communicating your thoughts and plans with others. You're actually going to end up having dedicated time, which is pretty cool, in our lab work to explore your lab problems ahead of time, devise your initial plan, and then in the case of it being like a paired opportunity, if it's not solo, you're then going to talk together. Hey, this is how I was thinking of tackling the problem. Your partner can say the same thing, and then y'all are going to discuss what do we think makes the most sense in terms of actually working through it. This is definitely going to build your critical thinking and those problem-solving skills. You're also going to get time throughout, which I'll reference again later, the program practicing and breaking down data structure and algorithm problems. You may have heard of this. These are really important because these are the types of problems you might get in a technical interview that you have to explain and walk your way through. So we have specific areas throughout the 16 weeks that you will have like dedicated time on these particular data structures and algorithms. Alrighty, one more thing, just wanted to point out, you're also going to get to build your reading and research skills. I know Daniel kind of alluded to the 2 hours of, nightly homework. We'll get a bit more into that in the next slide, but that's going to allow you to build those reading and research skills. All right, so on that note, we have been extremely intentional in how we've designed for you to be able to independently study, start building that problem solving, and then come in class and have that practical and hands-on approach to what it is that you're doing. Next slide, please. All right, so this is going to have you build that resourcefulness, autonomy, critical thinking, and we built that program to help you do so. You may have noticed on an earlier slide, and I believe Daniel verbally mentioned it, but we do utilize a flipped classroom methodology when it comes to your exploration reading and your nightly explorations. So basically what that means is that in a flipped classroom design, you yourself, the learner, get an opportunity to really engage with, explore, learn a little bit, practice on your own independently prior to coming to class the next day. So in those nightly explorations, you're essentially going to be reading, doing little exercises and problems on the content that the next day your lab work is going to allow you to really dive into with your partner and with your instructional staff. So this approach really helps you as a new learner get to grapple with, without the audience, without the pressure of an in-class time constraint, grapple with the content, identify questions you already have, practice a little bit on your own so you feel like you have a little bit of a foundational knowledge before you even get into the classroom. So then the next day you'll come together with your instructors, with your peers, and you're going to develop and reinforce that understanding, right? Through your lab work, through your explore the problem time, through your workshops and discussions. You're going to be then implementing all of that new knowledge, practicing it, getting the opportunity to see what works and what doesn't, so that you can really take away and have multiple touch points with the technical content that you've been learning, not only in that nightly exploration, but then really engaging in class the next day, which obviously is going to strengthen your understanding of the content. All right, next slide, please. In your career, you're going to be responsible for your progress, completion, and communication of your projects. Same thing's going to happen here. Like I said, we want to really replicate as much as we can what you're going to experience in the real world. So we're going to give you ample opportunities to grow as a professional and as a learner through these particular skills as well. So over the 16 weeks, you're going to have support of your staff through check-ins where they're going to discuss your progress with you. You're going to be able to work on your time management, your stress management, your communication, like I referenced before, accountability, both the good and the bad. Hey, I didn't read last night, I should have, or hey, I really worked well with this partner. This is great. You're going to get to discuss all of it. And then building your growth mindset. For some of you, that might be a new concept, growth mindset, but especially in the bootcamp space where things are so fast, you're learning everything in such a compressed environment, really having that growth mindset of, yeah, I might not know it today, but it's not that I don't know it, it's I don't know it yet, right? Like really trying to see challenges as opportunities to grow is something that we greatly encourage our students to do, because it's not only going to help you here, but that is absolutely going to help you in the future. We even have supplementary content related to your personal development that you're going to have access to. In addition to our technical content, you'll have non-technical content in the curriculum to help you in some of these areas if you so choose. All right, you're also going to work on building those exemplary team member skills through communicating professionally, right? So this is both over Zoom and then also in Slack. You're going to be able to deliver and receive constructive feedback. So in those pairing opportunities that you'll have frequently throughout the program, you'll also be providing your pair feedback, and they'll be doing the same for you. You'll also get the opportunity to collaborate on projects using industry tools, right? Daniel referenced the final capstone project at the end of the program. as a group project. You'll do it together. You'll utilize, GitLab, where you'll work together just like you would in the real world on a project. And then you'll get to build healthy and supportive work relationships. I really cannot emphasize this enough. The relationships that you make over the next 16 weeks are very likely to live beyond the program if you so choose. If you haven't ever gone through an experience with someone that they're literally one of the only people who will get it because you've all gone through the same thing. This is absolutely that. The bonding is wonderful. And I think students end up really supporting each other, not only through this experience, but then through the job search and then into their careers. All right, so all of the previous points contribute to you being career ready, but we're also going to focus specifically on the things related to the actual job search, right? So these are things like making sure that your artifacts are tailored to the job search needs. So things like your personal narrative, maybe your professional portfolio, your resume, we're going to help you button all that stuff up. If you don't have one, don't worry. And you're going to be adding to it. You will have one by the end, right? It's going to be ready to go for your job search. You're also going to get to do things like mock interviews and networking, which is pretty cool. And like I referenced before, practicing those data structure and algorithm problems for your future technical interviews. And then you're also going to learn more from our career services team about different factors that influence the job search, right? And really maximize your job searching preparedness. At the end of the program, you even have, so your career services support, they're with us throughout as a robust career readiness team. But in that final week, right before you're ready to graduate, you get specialized career services time as well, where they're going to help you as you begin your job search. They're going to be alongside you with one-on-one coaching even after graduation, and helping you put all the pieces together for your job search process. So at the end of the day, if you take nothing else away from this presentation, I hope it's this, right? And it's that to be career ready means to be ready to do really uncomfortable things, right? Difficult things. And our program is really designed to help you practice and do those things here so that when you get out into the real world, it's not the first time you've done something, right? You've practiced it with support in this environment, not only learning a new technical skill like programming, right? Not only working with other people like you're going to do every day in the workforce, people like you, people not like you, right? Whether it's delivering feedback or maybe interviewing, maybe recording yourself, communicating your thoughts to others. These are all things you're going to get to practice here. And we want to build your comfort with that uncomfortability because it's going to increase your hireability in the future. If you've seen something here that you've never seen before and you have that exposure and you're able to take that with you in the future, that's going to be a great benefit to you. So we want to support you in that here over the next 16 weeks. All right, Daniel, there was one more slide, which I just communicated. So I hope y'all enjoy that. Sorry it's belated. All right, next slide, Daniel.
Sorry about that.
To be successful.
All right, what it takes to be successful. So we hope you found this information helpful and that you have a clearer picture of what you can expect in the program. To wrap up, some final thoughts on what it takes to be successful. All right. You will make things happen here, and this program will be what you make of it. There's so much within your internal focus, your internal locus of control in this program, and we encourage you to keep that in mind as you move forward. Instead of thinking there is nothing I can do today, you should really think, what can I do and what can I do differently? How can I ask for help? What could I try different? How could I get clarification? For any problem you have, there is more likely a next step that you can take ownership of. I can't really emphasize how important this is. Having been in the classroom physically, having been in it remote, I've seen hundreds of students at this point. And if there's a single difference between folks that really succeed and not, it's the people that bring curiosity and tenacity to the table here. Be curious and dig in and look for what you can do. That's really what I would say that the career of an engineer is. And that's kind of like, kind of the essence of an engineer is like looking for problems and looking for solutions to them. And so if you bring that to the classroom, everything is set up for you to succeed and do well. On that note, there are definitely some key things that successful students don't do, and things that they do. They don't show up late or miss days. They show up early or on time and are always present. The content here is really packed. As curriculum designers, we try and get as much stuff in as few days as possible so that you can get out there and get a job. That means that missing a day is like missing a week or more in a traditional class. Being late means you miss the context of the class that's going on and the questions that spark the discussion that's going on. So timeliness and being there is really important. They don't hold their questions inside or sit in confusion. They research, ask questions, and get help. Ask the instructor when you have opportunities. There's lots of pairing with your the other members of your cohort. Talk to them, ask questions to your cohort lead. Asking questions is probably one of the best things you can do throughout. Don't disengage. Engage with everybody that's there, and engage with the staff, engage with the peers. The boot camp can be difficult. I've seen all kinds of difficult in it, but we are here to support you. You'd be surprised how much your fellow cohort, the fellow students in your cohort will be there to support you. As Kelly said earlier, there really is a huge amount of relationship building that goes on here. And so if you have troubles, reach out and we can help. Let's see. Don't fail to complete your work. In fact, completing the work is 100% effort, and work to actively build their understanding. I think I'm losing my my kind of my third person, second person, first person thing here. I'm just going to talk through these. I'm saying them properly. Let's see. Okay, so AI is a new thing. As Kelly said earlier, it's really cool. It can be really useful, but it can't help you learn stuff. So don't rely on AI to explain things. We'll talk to you about how you can use it and effective ways to use it. We'll also talk about ways that aren't. And I think it's really important at this stage. Stay curious and engage with the humans. That's what you're paying for in this class is humans, software engineers who have been at this for decades. And it's a shame not to have those conversations with them. You can have conversations with AI until you're blue in the face after class is over. Take advantage of the staff that's here to help you. People that succeed don't dwell on the negative. They know there will be hard days, but those are only temporary. They don't expect this to be easy. Although this program is made for beginners, it is not easy. In fact, it's really hard. Successful students know it will be hard work and a lot of information and require a ton of effort to become a full stack career-ready engineer. They embrace this challenge and see it as building strength and reps to eventually go out and demonstrate the knowledge to land a future job. Now, when we say this hard, it doesn't mean that you have to solve the world's unsolved problems at this point. What you have to do is commit yourself to showing up and doing the work. We guide you through it. We have the materials and all the people there. And so the hard work you have to do is really showing up and committing yourself to get through it. Another thing is successful people don't put off networking. Networking is a key thing in getting your job. So you want to start, meeting the people in your cohort, staff, other students right away. You never know where any relationship could take you. All right. And speaking of networking, a quick reminder that our grads work all over the place. Your ability to connect with others who have been through a program here is substantial. Here are just a few of the thousands of companies who employ our grads worldwide. Our dedicated alumni team is always working to foster even more relationships and connections with companies so that you'll have great opportunities post-graduation. So you can see a whole list of companies that I'm sure a lot of you all are familiar with here. As we talked about building relationships in your cohort, you definitely will, but you're also going to be building relationships with people you don't even know, people that have come 6, 8, even 10 years ahead of you. If they see, hey, that's a Hack Reactor graduate, I went to Hack Reactor, I hired Hack Reactor grads, and they were awesome. There's that network of like 14,000 people that have been through the programs at this point. All right. Now this is, I think, the funnest part because we can all actually kind of have a conversation. Let's start with questions.
Absolutely, team. If you have any questions and you're unable to be in a space where you can come off of mute, what we'll go ahead and do is ask that you put those questions into the chat. But if you do have questions that you'd like to jump into with our wonderful team here, Daniel, Kelly, you name it, go ahead and at the very bottom of your Zoom screen, you're going to see 3 dots. It's going to say more, and then you're going to be able to utilize a reaction. I thought, hold on, give me one moment. Oh, it's the reaction. It should be a little heart, I believe, if you have an update. And you can use the raise a hand portion. If you raise your hand, it'll bring you to the top of the Zoom room, and then we'll be able to bring you off of mute. Awesome.
All right, we have a question here in chat from Min. And the question is, will each class session be recorded for review afterwards? I forget what our policy is on that. I think they are recorded. I know that. The classes are recorded and they are available to review later. Good question. Any other questions? I'd be happy to talk about, life as a software engineer. I think I was trying to read my prompts when I went through that part, and so I kind of jumbled through it. I'm better at just talking than reading prompts, so feel free to ask questions.
All right, we'll wrap up a few other details about the upcoming February cohort if we jump into the next slide. And then we are still here if you have questions, right? So just because we start to talk about another topic, we can open up for questions here shortly. I want to make sure everyone knows that if they're interested, there are some due dates and deadlines that you need to get rolling in the process. We recommend you do this sooner rather than later. We're 1 month, which is going to sneak up rather quickly, February, away from our upcoming start date here on the 24th. An application deadline that you need to keep in mind is February 19th. But again, we don't recommend that you wait too long to get rolling with those things. We recommend that you do that sooner rather than later. Your acceptance to this program means you can enroll in any cohort with available seats in it. Our cohorts in the February cohort will be running in the EST and PST time zone, so Eastern and Pacific time zones specifically. So if you have any interest in our beginner level program after the curriculum we've reviewed today, please reach out to us at a few different email addresses. Next slide, please. We have the admissions@galvanize.com, and then there our phone number is as well. Look forward to having each and every one of you in class if this is the way that you would like to go, but we'll hang out here for just a few more minutes and answer some questions if you do have any. So,
hey, Jeff. I got a question in DM, and it said, what sets Hack Reactor above other boot camps? And there's a couple things I just want to highlight real fast, especially relating to beginners, right, in general. I think one big thing that Daniel went into that's huge, especially for beginners, is that there are a ton of boot camps who, like he said, they really couple these technical topics in a way that it makes it really difficult for you, the new learner, and even for the staff supporting you to identify what is the blocker that you're having to help us really remediate and get you on the right track. Our curriculum is specifically designed to allow you to really learn something, demonstrate that understanding and that learning to where and we know you 100% got it, or this is where you need to review or whatever. And as a beginner in such a fast-paced curriculum, I think that that is a really important thing for you so that you can continue to move forward relatively seamlessly versus you getting 6 weeks into a program and going, I don't even know what my problem is, but I don't get it, right? So that's one thing I think is huge. Min asked about the, hey, are these things recorded? Can we review them? Absolutely right. But another thing for us is we really encourage our instructional staff, and it really is a standard for us, that this is not a we just talk at you lecture. Another thing I hope you took away is there's so much practical application, the things that you'll experience throughout the day between your not like a typical day, which I don't know if we really highlighted to a degree maybe you can process, but just imagine for a second you've signed up for the program, you've done the 2-hour homework, let's say it's on functions, you've researched that for 2 hours, you've read the material, you've done the exercises. The next morning you come in, you do a knowledge check. That knowledge check immediately lets you know, did I understand that reading to the degree that I should have, or do I already know I have some questions? Because that little 15-minute activity told me like I didn't get it, right? And then at that point, you're in the class with your peers, with the instructional staff, and the rest of the day is lectures not lectures, labs, and then those workshops / discussions throughout that are really going to keep hitting home. So you're going to have like 3 different discussions on functions, and they're all recorded, but you're going to see an instructor go, I'm going to make a function named this, and it's going to do that. What maybe should I do next? So you're critically thinking as this instructor is walking through what they would do, but they're also going to be prompting you because they want you to build that knowledge as well of like, what is the next step with that foundational knowledge that you've already had. This is not something you're going to get everywhere. Like the practical application, the real interactive elements, the where you can ask questions as you need to that degree. That is something that is like so just like intimately intertwined with the design. I think it's a really, to me, that is one of the biggest things that bring us up here comparatively, because we know what you need to really learn is practical application with support. So that is like, so like, I mean, every single thing throughout the day is about that, right? And you should not be surprised, and your staff will not be surprised if it's like, oh, so-and-so needs some extra help. Let's figure out what resource we can point them to. Or maybe they just need a quick 15-minute demo, or like, how's the class doing overall? That's something else. At the end of the day, there's always a daily wrap up where you're going to have at the end of the day any remaining questions. You're going to be able to put one in your Slack chat. If you have a key takeaway, hey, this is really great. I really understood that functions make code reusable. And you can put that in the chat. The instructor is going to look at all this feedback from students right before the end of the day. And if they see trends, oh, people didn't understand this part, they're not going to let you walk away without understanding before you jump into your next exploration. They're going to try to touch on that before you even leave. So I just think the quality of instruction and the touch points you get, the really intentional, like, everything exists for a reason. I can't speak on behalf of other boot camps, but I can say for ours, everything exists for a reason. And the staff is all trained to know how we can best utilize that data to get you where you need to be. That's it from me.
Awesome.
Sorry.
You,
so sorry.
No, don't be sorry. That was awesome. I want to answer Osama's question here. I think his first question was, can someone with beginner knowledge apply as well? And then he asked the follow, and I said, yes, I'll be happy to talk to that. And then he had a follow-on question of JavaScript with Python or full stack development will be taught. So Python and JavaScript are taught. We teach Python as the backend language, and that's the first language you'll learn. And so we teach Python, and then we teach JavaScript. JavaScript is the de facto language of all front end things, and so you have to learn some JavaScript to operate on the front end. And so we teach you plenty of JavaScript, and that goes into React, which is the modern and probably the most used JavaScript framework for creating modern designs. I hope that answers your question, Osama. Please let me know if you would like me to say more on that. So we have questions about the next program. And it seems that after the February start, there will be a cohort starting at the end of June on June 23rd, which will run through October 9th. Yeah, Kelly, your speech there got me just excited about boot camps in general.
Hey, I can tell you one more thing that I think sets this company apart is the people who are here for a reason. And most of the time it's you, the people on this call who are showing up saying, maybe I want to do this, and maybe I want to take this big leap of faith or craziness or whatever, and like try something new and see if I'm good at it. And like, maybe it will change my life in a really positive way, you know. And I can say for the folks on this call who have worked here for quite a while, we've seen so many students through this, and we've seen what it can do for people. And I think you will have a very dedicated staff. Like I said, everything is really intentionally designed. If you think of any questions at all, please don't hesitate to email this. We know this is a big investment for folks, not only of time, but you know, your financial resources, and it's an important decision to think about, right, and to make. So please let us know if you need any more clarity in any areas. And I'm just happy to be here, if you couldn't tell from my impassioned speech on a Friday afternoon. So, yep.
I just want to underscore that. I'll say for myself, I really love building things, and I had never been in education, and it I don't know, I think it touches people, or maybe some people are touched by it. But I love engineering stuff so much, but it's even more fun to come and bring it to other people and teach. And so everyone that's here is really has a passion for sharing a topic that they really love. Yeah.
I love it. I love the passion, love the excitement. Question from Min Yoon, one final question, and then we'll let everybody have a wonderful weekend. Will HTML and CSS be emphasized as a large part of this course?
One of the core units, I think in the presentation, it was labeled How the Web Works. HTML and CSS are the core topics of that. All web pages, everything you see on a web browser, behind every one of those is HTML and CSS. And so that is a core, those are critically important technologies for you to learn, and we'll definitely dive into it and get you to where you know it well enough that you can go and learn all of the rest of it.
Awesome.
And that's really, I think, a key thing with all of our Jeff's gonna be like, all right, you guys, you got to shut up, stop talking. A key part of the thing is we can only teach you so much in 16 weeks or 19 weeks or 12 weeks. It's limited. So a key part of the program is really helping you understand how to take everything to the next level. If you want to learn some database stuff that we didn't teach here, you'll know the website to go to, the docs for Postgres database, where you can go in and get the documentation for that. If you want to learn about more advanced features of Python, you will know where to go and where to dig into it. The same for JavaScript and React and these other things. And I guess one of my favorite things about this career is the learning never ends. There's this constant stream of new and exciting things to learn and build.
I love it. I love it. Well, with that, we're excited to have everybody, whether it's February 24th or June. We're going to have rolling start dates throughout the year. But again, there's no time like the present when it comes to betting on yourself and learning a skill set to take forward into the new year and into next year. Because like Daniel said, lifelong learners, you'll always be able to carry those things with you. With that, I just want to say thank you for spending the afternoon with us. If you have any questions at all, those email addresses are going to be there. We'll be able to respond to those. If there's greater questions, every time I end a Zoom or anything, I'm always like, now I have 12 questions. That's where you email us, and we'll do our best to get back to you and answer those. So thank you for coming out. With that, we'll go ahead and close out the room. Feel free to email us, and thank you so much for spending some time with us this afternoon.